The Wizard's Garden of Lost Spells.
Once upon a time, high atop a misty mountain, lived a kind but very forgetful wizard named Eldrin. Wizard Eldrin had a beautiful garden filled with magical plants. Each one was humming with a special kind of magic. There were fizzleberries that tasted like starlight and made you float, and glimmer blooms that glowed with a soft, comforting light. But the most special plant in his garden was the Himri moss. It was a soft, green moss that held all of Wizard Eldrin's favorite spells. But one morning, when he went to cast a spell to make breakfast fly to his table, he found his memory moss was completely bare. All the spells had vanished, leaving only a faint, silvery trail. "Oh dear," said Eldrin, "my spells. They must have wandered off on an adventure of their own." Just then, a curious little creature with fur like an emerald and horns like tiny branches appeared. It was a Glimmerling, a shy, magical forest guardian. The Glimmerling looked at the wizard's sad face and then at the silvery trail. "Squeak, squeak," it chirped, pointing a tiny hoof down the mountain path. It was trying to tell Eldrin something. The Glimmerling's light, which was usually a soft green, was flickering with excitement. "Are you saying you can help me find my spells?" Eldrin asked. The Glimmerling squeaked happily in response. So the wizard and his new friend, the Glimmerling, began their journey. The Glimmerling, with its keen magical senses, followed the faint trail of stray spells, which sparkled like tiny stars on the ground. Their first spell had landed in the valley below. It was the sunbeam spell, which made everything bright and warm. They found it caught in a web of a spider, making the web glow like spun gold. The spider was very proud of its new, shiny web. Eldrin gently explained that he needed his spell back. The Glimmerling offered the spider a small, sweet glimmer bloom. The spider, delighted by the gift, let the spell go, and the sunbeam spell returned to Eldrin's pocket, warm and happy. Next, they followed the trail to a bubbling creek. The spell, a bouncing pebble spell, was turning all the flat stones in the creek into happy, hopping creatures. A family of playful otters were giggling as they watched the pebbles bounce across the water. The Glimmerling shared some fizzleberries with the otters, and they returned the spell, which popped back into Eldrin's hand, feeling very lively. Finally, the trail led them to a grand old tree with a hollow in its trunk. Inside, they found a small, shivering owlet. The last and most powerful spell, the Healing Whispers spell, was wrapped around the owlet like a warm, soft blanket. The owlet had a small hurt on its wing, and the spell was comforting it. Eldrin's eyes softened. He didn't take the spell back. Instead, he used a pinch of his glimmer bloom powder and a handful of fizzleberries, and whispered a brand new spell, a spell of friendship and comfort. The owlet chirped in thanks, and the Healing Whispers spell, now a bright, joyous green, detached itself from the owlet and flew back to Eldrin, brighter than before. Back in his garden, Wizard Eldrin placed his spells back onto the map. They no longer had to be perfect. They were now filled with the stories of their adventures, and from that day on, the Glimmerling became Eldrin's special assistant, always there to remind him that some of the best spells are found not in a book, but on a grand adventure with a good friend.
Wizard Eldrin and the Glimmerling taught us that kindness is the greatest magic. What's one kind thing you did for someone today? Tell us in the comments below. If you love stories about wizards and magical friends, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures. Thanks for watching. Sweet dreams.